guys, it's Annika the Amputee. In case you didn't know, I'm an amputee. Today, I wanted to talk to you about other people, specifically people who come up and approach you as an amputee. I can't speak for everybody, but I can tell you about my experiences and the stories that I've shared with other people, predominantly amputees. Humans are curious. It's just a fact of nature. Humans are curious. If somebody looks different, if somebody acts different, you're going to look. If there's, whether it's you're wearing something crazy or you're missing a limb, people just tend to look. I think it has to do with natural instinct, and if something doesn't look right, your brain's like, oh my gosh, what is that? I need to make sure that I'm safe from that. As an amputee, I get approached a lot. What I want to talk about specifically is when I'm approached by kids. Now, kids are very impressionable. They're small humans that don't know a lot about the world, and they ask a lot of questions. Well, as an amputee, kids tend to ask, why does your leg look like that? Because I'm somebody that doesn't try to hide my limb, but what happens is a kid is staring and goes, Mommy, do you see that girl? Do you see that girl? What's wrong with her leg? And instead of being a rational person and coming up and saying, hey, why don't you talk to her, ask her a question, or hey, my son has a question to ask you, would you mind if he asked it? Because I personally would be like, sure, what do you got? But instead, the mother yanks on the kid's arm as if to say, no, Timmy, we don't talk to the handicap, and drags them away. Now, my problem with this is the fact that this goes on for generations. So a parent tells their kid, no, you can't ask questions, don't stare at them, you're gonna make them uncomfortable. And in turn, that kid grows up and tells his kids the exact same thing. And as an adult, he doesn't necessarily know how I feel as an amputee or how I feel when I look different and get stared at. Because I get stared at all the time. It was something they warned me about when I was talking about electively amputating my leg. It's like, oh, aren't you worried about your body image? Everyone's gonna be staring at you. I'm like, you know, I really don't care. Here's the thing, it's okay to ask questions. Of all the amputees I talked to, very few of them would have a problem if a kid came up, or even an adult really came up and asked them a question about the amputation. Now, when you get into their specific story, like what happened to your leg, that's a whole different story. Everybody has their own stuff with that. Some people don't like to talk about their story, and some people, for me, I just tell my story so much I kind of get annoyed. But if a kid comes up and asks, why is your ankle like that? I personally try to relate it to something they understand, which is How to Train Your Dragon. I love that movie. If you haven't seen it, you really need to. It's about this village that kills dragons. There's this one kid who's kind of nerdy, and he shoots down the most notorious dragon, the Night Fury. And instead of actually killing him, he cuts off part of his fin on his tail, ends up being friends with the dragon, and creates a prosthetic, essentially, for the tail. If you can see this, I hope you can see this. So Toothless, he has this red fin on his tail. And so I kind of explained it like that. I'm like, hey, Toothless needed that extra piece to fly, so I just need this extra piece to walk. And then sometimes kids will get more curious, well, why are you missing it? Tell them I had a really bad owie in my foot and the doctors tried to help me, but there wasn't much they can do, and this was the best option. Most time they're okay with that. They go on with their life, go play in dirt, whatever, kids. So I don't have a problem with people coming up and asking questions like that. I personally am somebody who is very, very open about anything, and I actually had it was my chiropractor. It was the front staff of the chiropractor. Apparently, they never asked somebody about an amputation. As kids, they were probably dragged away, being like, no, don't stare, you're gonna make them uncomfortable, don't ask questions, that's rude. It's like, no, it's not rude. So now, as 30, 40-year-old adults, they still don't know the answer to, well, how does your leg attach to your stump? Because, heck, I didn't even know really before I started doing my own research. So what I'm trying to get at is, don't make it seem like it's a taboo topic. If you have questions to ask, as long as they're respectful and as long as they come from good intentions, most people won't have a problem with it. That being said, humans have bad days sometimes, and some days I just don't want to talk to anybody. The other day somebody said, hey, how was your weekend? And I wanted to punch him in the face. But that's a whole different story. For the most part, if you have a question, come up and ask me. I don't necessarily want to tell my story, but how does your leg work? Does it feel normal walking? Stuff like that. Sure. But if you have more questions that you want me to address, put them in the comments below. I'm really, really sorry I haven't been getting to the comments lately. I know a lot of you have asked me to make specific videos. I'm really bad at this. I hope to get better. I appreciate you all watching and supporting me through all of this. I don't have much else to say right now. Thanks guys for watching.